Hi, everyone. I want to introduce this wonderful panel that I have here today. To my furthest to the right, I have Vincent Williams of Honey's Kettle. Vincent, can you give out your social media handle, please?
My social media handle? Hashtag Honey's Kettle.
There, that's all you need to know.
Okay.
Tamara Dyson of Solely Vegan, please. Instagrams, tags, hashtags, go for it, girl.
At Solely Vegan everywhere, Twitter, Instagram, yeah.
Sean?
The Red Chicks on both Instagram and TikTok.
You guys got that? I'm telling you, I want to see all the tags today. I'm Bricia Lopez again. Our tags at The Guelaguetza and at Bricia Lopez. So I want to kick off the conversation just talking about some just very broad themes when it comes to social media. You all have a great digital footprint and great branding online. I guess my first question would be, do you all have specific intentions when you post on social media? Do you have calendars? Do you plan everything out? Or is it more like freestyling, whatever comes to your mind? And then do you manage your business and your personal at the same time? I would love to know a little bit more about your process, and I think everyone here would too as well.
Sure. So for us, it's been a lot of not necessarily thinking in the box and trying to manage everything and have the perfection of the content and the pictures and the lighting and everything has to be perfect. No, it's a lot of just being authentic and showing you exactly what you're going to get when you come to our store. So
yeah, for sure.
Our posts, whether on TikTok or Instagram, if you look at them, they're basically shot at some random angles with not necessarily perfect lighting or perfect burger with the perfect bun, none of that. It's actually the product that comes out of the kitchen and it would go to the table and it's like it got served to you and you took a picture of it with your phone. That's exactly how it would look like on our social media platform. So for us, no, we don't really overthink it by any means. We just get creative with a lot of crazy ideas for sure, but nothing that we plan ahead or anything like that.
Tamara, what about you?
Yeah, I think we don't. My social media person, she does take photos and videos and all that for structured content. But I think that how Solely Vegan was built was very authentic. A lot of people, they know the brand, they know my story, how we started, so they look for that from us. And so with that being said, she posts, but then I'll go on there and just do something quirky or just, because that's just who I am. So I think it's just kind of a combination of both. But in the end, absolutely, letting people know exactly what to expect when you come to Solely Vegan.
I love it. What about you, Vincent?
Well, in our case, I would say from the very origins of our social media, it started out with cell phone type photos and the lighting was terrible. But we started to build a team. And the team right now is still evolving. We've had different people do our website. We've had to make changes in that area. But what happens is we're putting feelers out there all the time, or we're trying to connect with that community out there. And we find that if we come up with creative ideas of how to put content on our website or through our social media platforms, we kind of measure the responses what we're getting. But it didn't start out as, it was 110% of what it can be. But I think we'll get there because it does take a team of people. I am not that person. I kind of understand it, but I come from, the generation of baby boomers who, we used to send out mailers or we used to...
I mean, you understand it, and you're doing such a great job with your brand at Honey's Kettle.
Yeah, I understand it now, but it's taken a real education for me. And so as I listen to them talk, I'm learning more and more how social media is such a powerful way to reach your consumer.
for sure. Tamir, I feel like you do such a great job and great work connecting with your audience, and you know exactly who they are, and just almost feels like you're speaking to each single person directly to camera all the time when I see you. Do you have other unique ways to build a relationship with that audience, or anything that you've learned throughout your social media experience that you can share with us today?
Well, so I thank you. I appreciate what you've said. I think that people start businesses for different reasons, right? So I think for myself, Solely Vegan it's a love child. You know, I Solely Vegan is an extension of myself. And so with that being said, I'm always my authentic self when I, communicate to, our followers, and I know our culture. They don't want to see anything about animal cruelty. They don't want to see this and they don't want to see that. They want to, I know what they want to see. I know who our customers are. And we've built that culture. Like I said, Solely Vegan is an extension of myself, so it's not just a business. And so with that being said, my reasons for starting Solely Vegan spilled into that entire culture. So when people come to experience that, they're literally experiencing me, and I'm kind of sewn into the brand, which is why a lot of people are able to identify with not only the brand, but where the brand comes from. It's a real it was never just a business, Solely Vegan was birthed out of real reasons and causes that, a lot of us kind of deal with. And I think that because I speak so, candidly, about my experiences, people are just able to identify with not only me, but then really love the brand even more.
Vincent, I think there's many ways for businesses to measure engagement, and some of them measure them by likes or comments, or how well did this post do, how well did that post do. In your opinion, what is a most successful post when you do something?
Well, when we put something out there, hopefully it's creative and it catches the eye of those people that we want to reach, and that they will not only just say they like it, but they want to share it. We have had numbers of people that come through the restaurant, I don't even know they're there, who are influencers. And they have their own platforms and their own programs. And in this day and age, people like to take pictures of the food and share it. And so we're really looking for the shares. That's what really counts to us. Because a lot of people could like it and never visit it. And also, we try really hard to back up, starting from the brand level of the product itself, and we want to back up every part of how we're fishing for more consumers by making sure that the number one thing is taken care of, and that's the brand. So it'll live up to the likes and the shares and the saves and people spreading the word for us.
Sean, you've mastered TikTok. You're a TikTok ninja, I think, at this time, and you've leveraged that into now building franchises.
Right.
Did you always know that that's what you wanted to do? Was that intentional? Did it just come out of nowhere? Were you jump on TikTok early? Tell us that story of how that came to be.
Yeah, when we started our brand in 2018, everyone was trying to build this strong platform on Instagram. Mm-hmm. And it was very competitive. So we took the advice of Red Ocean, Blue Ocean. And when the beginning talk of TikTok started, we thought, okay, while everyone is busy with Instagram, we're going to go ahead and start our brand on TikTok. And I remember the first 3 or 4 months we were on TikTok, we built 17,000 followers. And when that happened, we felt like, okay, there's definitely something here that we need to focus on. So we put our focus and effort on that. There were definitely a lot of learning curves that we didn't know because it's complete different market and audience from what Instagram is. So we had to learn that. But that was basically the way that we went with TikTok, and we built Today we have over 1.2 million followers with, I think, 36 million likes. TikTok has got us on different platforms such as Complex, Access Hollywood, all because of the creative content that we have put on TikTok. And a lot of our content goes viral based on the creativity that we put out or the craziness of what we do. We also try to create some trends ourselves, besides following the trends that become hot for a week or so on TikTok, somehow related to the brand and get on that trend. But we also create our own trends. So some of our trends actually has been practiced with other brands. And I'm sure if you get on our platform, you'll see those trends that we've created.
Do you want to speak on one specifically that you've seen the most success in?
So the most successful trend that we've created is the way we dip the tender in the sauce. It's very aggressive and it splashes the sauce all over. It creates a great amount of comments on these sort of posts. And it influenced us at the beginning. That was one of the very first trends that we started on TikTok. And we got a lot of response to it. So we made the tagline on our TikTok is CEO of Wasting Sauce. And that took off. And now we actually brought the CEO of Wasting Sauce to our stores with a handmade art of a 3 platform that has a giant cup of sauce that has splashed all over. And it's on our wall with the tag of CEO of Wasting Sauce.
You also have like this giant burger.
Yes, so
too, right?
we also did that contains, we actually had to spend about 3.5 months to find a bakery that can bake it a size of a bun that we needed for that. And with 30 plus tenders on it and a whole gallon of pickle and 5 pounds of coleslaw.
It works. I've seen it on TikTok.
Yeah, we also built that on Access Hollywood with Mario Lopez.
Nice.
So all of you have built robust social media followings and footprints. Do y'all can share some misconceptions that you have seen with other restaurant people that they may have on how to grow your platforms? I know sometimes people say, oh, that person just got lucky, or that person may just know this one person and got tagged. For me, I think there's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes that people don't know about. But can you share some misconceptions that you've heard along the way while building your social media channels?
You know, for us, because how active we are on TikTok and how big we are on TikTok, TikTok is big for us. But when I talk to a lot of different brand owners, what I hear is, TikTok is that crazy dance platform, and it's not really for businesses to get on. But we also got to pay attention to the fact that there might be not enough people, or not everyone on TikTok creates content, but everyone is watching. It's not just that limited age range that we think are on TikTok all the time. I think everyone is on TikTok. The difference is TikTok is not like Instagram for people to just feel comfortable posting their pictures. It takes a lot more effort to post the content on TikTok. So not everyone posts, but everyone definitely watches on TikTok. So, and another thing, to your point, definitely takes a lot of time and effort. We have bi-weekly meetings with our team, and everyone is to bring crazy ideas. We don't want to sit at the table and just talk about common things. We expect everyone to bring some outrageous idea, which, majority of them never come to life because it's too crazy, but some of them are crazy enough to come to life, and they always make it happen.
What about you, Tamara?
It's the main source of advertising now is social media. And I would say that, kind of with that being said, kind of going back to making sure that you're delivering the product that you're advertising is huge, because there's nothing better than word of mouth. That happens, and as Solely Vegan, we have people that literally come from all over the world to experience it. And it's because their family kind of, told them great things about us or brought them down. But I mean, social media, I can't even, we have people that come in and they're just like, yo, you posted this, and then, they like something that looks crispy and crunchy, and people, they buy with their eyes, and it's just it's the main, kind of focal point of advertising now is, Instagram, TikTok.
What about Vincent? Do you think if there's some misconceptions about social media and things that you would encourage others to do?
Yeah, I think there is. For us, I've always thought, well, if you got all these followers and people are sharing it and it's basically going viral, what is the dollar walking in the door? Does that convert into immediate sales? There's like you're putting a lot of feelers out there and connecting dots. You're here on Instagram and you're on Twitter and Facebook and TikTok. But you can't really always quantify that in terms of people walking in the door spending their money. But it creates such an awareness that I feel like it creates this kinetic energy, so to speak, that all of a sudden it shows up in people walking and lines out the door. So it is the number one way to reach your audience. And I believe that, like I tell my team, I say, get me that silver bullet. And they say, silver bullet, it doesn't quite work like that. But I'm looking for that silver bullet. It could be somebody, flying out of a plane, eating a piece of fried chicken or something. But whatever it is, something that's going to get people to show up at the door. Because I'll take care of the rest. The food will ultimately be what brings them back and have all the other people sharing the wonders of Honey's Kettle.
Now, I'm assuming when you all speak of my team, I am assuming you didn't start with a team, correct? That when you started posting on social media, maybe it was just you, or maybe it was just one other person. How have y'all grown your social media teams, and how much importance you put in that when it comes to your bottom line, and when you put in, how much am I going to pay this person, and is it worth it to bring that person full time for me?
I did take some business courses. I didn't complete my degree in business, but back in the day, marketing was marketing, advertising. Today, they have a whole new study of social media. And I've been fortunate enough to have my daughter in-house who works for a company that they spend, all the time talking about these issues. I have a son who's a designer. So we have our own team in-house because it can get very, very pricey to go out and hire somebody off the street. And hopefully the person who is involved is passionate. Would you agree, Sean? They're passionate about your brand. And I think that comes out in the kind of things that they come up with. And I want to see that silver bullet, though. And so I'll go back to them today and say, you guys got to get me that silver bullet.
Yeah, that's correct. Finding someone that can capture your voice, that can capture your culture, and then project that, is very important.
So did you start by was it just you in the beginning? How was that transition? I don't know how many of you in the audience have a full-time social media person, or maybe thinking about doing that change of, maybe it's time I hire that agency or that person. Do you have somebody in-house, or do you have an outside person that you have delegated that to? Yeah,
I definitely delegate that responsibility. I have a person. We did not start out with anyone. It was just me, but it takes so much time. And so, I have a dedicated person for that. In-house, or do you have an agency? I outsource it. Yeah, I outsource it. It's not an agency. It's an individual contractor that does it. Just as expensive, though. But it's important to make sure that your imagery and, the videos and everything is, because it takes so much time. I could not imagine. Is your team in-house full-time, or do you outsource?
So it's a split. I think the first step is to figure out which part of this equation you got, which pieces you got, and which pieces you're lacking. And for us, to have someone who has the understanding of the platform and they live it and breathe it every day, 10 hours a day, was important because that was not us. So we had to get someone from that generation that knows the language, knows how to communicate, how to caption, what's out there right now, what's hot, to fill that gap. And so we've worked with the same team for the last 3.5, almost 4 years, that they eventually come into the brand, and like mentioned, they get they get how to present the brand. But the initial for us was missing that piece that we didn't know how to communicate with that generation. So bringing someone from that generation to manage the content for us.
And is that person in-house, or is it
Yes,
also
in-house.
Full-time?
Yes.
Amazing. I always like to think of social media. I've actually pivoted from calling social media to content creation, because it is content, nonstop. You have to keep creating content and keep creating and keep grabbing people's attention to your brand, and you're always fighting for that attention. There's so many platforms, right, that are fighting for people's attentions. How do you grab that? When you think of content, Vincent, and content creation, how often is your brand creating content on a regular basis?
Well, I think that we do a lot of short videos. They have to be informative. Like, for instance, we have a location as part of a cloud kitchen in downtown LA, DTLA, and we've been trying to figure out, what type of content works there. Well, we did a really nice short video where the person pulled up, the product came out, and they were on their way. And we got a lot of people seeing that. So we need more of that kind of stuff. We have a product, for example, that could be used for, we have products over the counter that we could sell, that we do sell, that we want to distribute around the world. So we're trying to find what's that magic that will get the attention of people, to have them go to the website and order the product to be shipped. So it takes a lot of cleverness in this area. It takes the Generation Z, I guess you call it, the millennials, that they connect with all this stuff. They have a way of living by this stuff. And every time we go on a trip, we go to a new city, they immediately go to their phones and they know how to find the hottest restaurant in the area. So we're trying to learn more and more about what is it that's really eye-catching and will go eventually viral.
Yeah. What about you, Tamara? How often are you creating content?
Yeah,
and putting it out as well?
Definitely. I would say probably at least no less than maybe 5 times, a week. So almost daily, unless something really explodes and we just let it ride for a second, But other than that, yeah, we stay pretty consistent, about 5 or so days a week.
And what about you, Sean?
We do definitely daily, sometimes a couple of times a day. It depends on, if we come across that sort of content that we want to put out. But we also focus on the fact that it definitely has to be short.
Yeah.
We don't want it to be too long. The status.
What's short and what's too long?
So from the study, it shows that you have about 3 seconds to communicate your message. Majority of the time, past 3 seconds, people would go to the next post. You have, if they stay for extra 2 seconds. So now you have 5 seconds. You get probably 20 to 30% of viewers to actually watch through the entire 10 second, 15 second if it's a long shot. But you have that first 5 seconds to give the message or hook them so they watch the entire thing. So we try to stay within that 5 to 7 seconds, not taking it too long on content that we put out, so it gets better view and people are comfortable with it. Their attention span is there to watch 3 to 5 seconds.
there is an opportunity for content everywhere you go. No matter what you do for a living, no matter what you're doing, especially if you're in business, right? If you're in a restaurant, you might think like, oh, I'm here at the summit, has nothing to do with my food. There is always opportunity for content. So Sean, can you give a little workshop on how the content that you've captured here today is going to appear on social media and your channels throughout the week?
Yes, for sure. So I have our media director here who's been with me for the last 2-3 hours just shooting content.
Is it this guy here with the hat?
Yes, Jose.
Shooting both
right
with
there.
a phone and with a DSLR because that's the way it's done nowadays.
Yeah,
you gotta do both.
He was moving throughout the room. But so that would probably get edited and chopped into, like I mentioned, like 10 seconds, 12 seconds, 7 seconds video. And I'll probably post it on my Instagram. I don't have a personal TikTok, but Instagram and LinkedIn for sure. So for the last.
So now that are you growing now your personal as well as your business at the same simultaneously?
Yes. So yes, some of the content would get posted on my personal. We are not going to do an actual post of things like this on our platform. We try to keep it very focused on food, but it can definitely get on our stories and share our story like we've done before.
Do we have any questions for the audience?
I was just wondering how you balance resources between social media and traditional public relations marketing. Any take on that?
I would say that if you try to do both of them, it's going to get real expensive in a hurry. Social media is probably the most cost-effective way to get your message out, to tell your story. You can find youngsters who are eager to put content together for you. There's always a way to get the message out that if you go the traditional public relations route at the same time as you're doing the social media, you're going to find you're going to be spending a lot of money. But public relations is excellent if you have the budget for it.
Yeah. What about, do you have a PR agency and a social media agency?
So I think it all depends on what your target market is. Right, and based on that, you got to split between the two. If you have a target market that is not really the age range of social media, then maybe it's a waste of money to spend any money on social media, right? For us, it works out because our target market, I want to say 80% is the age range that are on social media 3, 4, 5 hours a day. So we put a lot of focus and money and effort on social media and not so much on the old school marketing. But I also know that there are certain brands that, this age range is not attracted to. And for them, it definitely makes more sense to go with the old school because they're trying to capture a different audience. So I think it has everything to do with what audience you're trying to attract.
I don't know anybody who's not on social media more than 2-3 hours a day. Any other questions?
What are your thoughts about the trends that we're seeing with social influencers coming into your restaurant? Either you pay them or you give them food to do a post. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I think for us, we have a lot of influencers that come in, but they're also trying to build their brand. So I think off top, they won't necessarily, at least, and we've been very blessed that no one has asked us to pay them, but they're also trying to grow kind of their brand and their influence. So with that, they're going to come in and they're also creating content to grow themselves as an influencer. So I mean, for myself, I haven't paid anyone to do that. I know that brands do and pay celebrities to come and eat kind of the same deal. But yeah, I haven't delved into that at all.
Yeah, I feel like if you pay one, you pay them all, and then next thing you know.
Because they get paid for other things too on social media, so they just need to keep creating content, especially at one of the hottest spots. It's kind of blessing them to do content on that spot or that experience rather.
At my restaurant, we've never paid anyone to eat at our restaurant. But I just think it depends, right, on the social following that everyone has. And maybe there is somebody that has a huge audience that you as a restaurateur may benefit for, and it's more of a bartering system. And I think for me, I think even just listening to the panel before us, I think it's really more about building relationships that are, deeper rather than just a one-off transactional. So I think it's just a matter of building relationships with people with audiences may work for restaurants as well.
And I don't think we should limit ourselves to influencers or our own social media team, because I have found so many videos that have popped up that I didn't even know the people were in there doing it. Like you were saying, Tamara, they were doing their own thing, building their own brand.
Right.
So it takes this multiplicity of all these different combination of social media, influencers where you can, and the old traditional word of mouth.
I agree with that. That concludes our panel.
Danny.